Hi, my name's Vanessa. I had colorectal surgery for a permanent colostomy 12 years ago. So one of the things I really wanted to do after 10 years of being unwell was to try and get fit again. And one of the easiest ways to do this, I thought, was to start swimming. But I had great concerns about being in the swimming baths, being in a public swimming baths, using public changing rooms, and using a swimming costume with a bag that might function or overfunction. So I spent a bit of time finding a costume that I felt comfortable with, and at the time I went with a tankini, and I was very fortunate at the time that I was visiting an aunt in Australia who had a pool in her back garden. So I had the comfort and leisure to practice away in the back of the pool. And it was absolutely fine. It helped me understand that exercise can sometimes trigger bowel function. So it helped me understand the timings of when I undertook anything like swimming. But it also taught me a number of things, like perhaps going for a costume that has a bit of a pattern on it. Because if your bowels do decide to start functioning and your bag does decide to start filling, then the pattern of the swimming costume actually makes it a lot more discreet. And it's other simple things as well, like keeping your swimming towel close by, not because it's too cold, but because, again, if your bag functions, you just get out the pool, pick up your towel, let it drape along your shoulder, it covers your bag a little bit, and you can walk a lot more confidently into the changing rooms to sort yourself out without being too self-conscious that other people can see what's going on. These are all the little tricks and tips that help you gain more confidence and keep some discretion while being out in public display, so to speak. It was my grandfather's 85th birthday, and all the family were visiting from around the world in Ireland, and I wasn't going to miss out, and this was 3 months post-surgery. So there was absolutely no problem in booking a flight. There was absolutely no problem in getting to the airport, going through security, although there were some concerns about going through security, because if they did a pat down, were they going to pick up on the bag? How was the conversation going to go? What were they going to ask me to show or reveal? But in my particular set of circumstances, I didn't have any issues or concerns in that department. For me, it was my own self-confidence, the mind chatter, when I actually sat on the plane and they announced they were going to take off. I've taken so many flights in my life, and this was the first time where, when I sat on the plane, I saw someone's hand on the armrest in the chair in front of me, and for the life of me, I just wanted to grab hold of it. I cannot tell you for why, but I suddenly had all the fears and insecurities and all the stories that you hear that your bag's going to blow up and fill with air as you're flying, and there could be grave accidents and your seatbelt sign's still on and you can't do anything about it. But this abiding memory was to hold on to someone's hand. But I realised I couldn't, so I had to hold my hand, my own hand. And the plane took off and it steadily rose, and as it did, I expected my bag to slightly increase with air, but it didn't do that either. And then the plane levelled out and nothing else happened with the bag. So all those concerns and fears hit me the minute the plane was about to take off, and to say the least, they were all unjustified. It was my own self-conscious lack of confidence dealing with a new thing. And when you're dealing with new things, it's going to take you a couple of times to build up your confidence. And that doesn't matter what you do, whether or not you're learning to drive or to ride a bike or learning to walk as a child. You've got to give yourself some patience, give yourself some time, and be kind to yourself. And remember, give yourself a pat on the back and treat yourself occasionally. So I, after 10 years of ill health, had a very extensive bucket list and a lot of catching up to do. And one of those things was to pass my motorbike test. Now, I started off with, like everybody else, on a 125 and decided that I wanted to go up full kilter to the part 2 because I wanted to ride a big bike. At least if I could tick it off and say I'd done it once, that was happy enough for me. And the day of my test was booked, and I was absolutely fine until I got on the bike and started the test. and made a mistake in the first 5 minutes. So I already knew I had failed my test, but I had to finish it. And I continued and continued, and the sweat and perspiration poured out of my body. And in the last 15 minutes, I realised that actually I was going to be dealing with a leak as well. So not only did I have a test that I had already failed to finish, I had a lot of sweat and perspiration. Anxiety and nerves were probably quite high up there, and I was dealing with a potential leak. When I got back to the bicycle centre, I had to strip off in what was the only loo, the gents loo, and deal with the situation and come out and deal with it as if it was just my test I had failed, nothing else. Now, to be fair, that could be enough to put anyone off, but being a determined little sucker, I decided to reset the test. This time I wore cotton underlayer, so it absorbed any moisture if I perspired again. And I wore additional adhesives and accessories along with my regular product to give me greater confidence and assuredness. And it was only this time round in the last 5 minutes that I nearly made a mistake. And in my earplug under my helmet, I heard the examiner saying to me, "Come on, Vanessa, don't mess it up now." And I did another one of those mini roundabouts and successfully passed my test. I wasn't sweating quite as bad, and I certainly didn't leak this time. By the way, I bought a Ducati. If you've just come out of surgery, then congratulations and welcome to our world. You may feel like your life is over, but actually it's only just beginning. The question is, how do you choose to live it, and what is it that you choose to do? The most important thing is to be patient with yourself and give yourself time to heal and recover, and then slowly but surely build up your confidence and do the things that you enjoy and love doing, things that make you feel good, because those feel good moments will get you through the more difficult days. At first it's a bit like 1 step forward, 2 steps back, but your confidence will grow with every activity that you do. You're kind of starting over again in some respects, and you'll know where your boundaries are. Sometimes you have to push those boundaries and ask yourself if you're getting into too much of a comfort zone, or if actually there's something that's holding you back from what it is that you would really like to do. Where there's a will, there is a way, and you will find a way round about it. Don't let it stop you.